Hello everyone and welcome back to Code with GoldenCat. Today we'll be talking about computed properties in Vue. So let's begin. Now before we talk about computed properties, let's see why we need computed properties in the first place. So here I have a skeleton project that is kind of a subset of the project that we created in our last video. So if anything seems unfamiliar, please watch the previous video and then come back to this one. So here I have a paragraph tag that uses a method called getGreetings. Then I have a button that adds one value to the counter, and then a text input box that also returns a get full name. So if I show you in the browser, it is, if I click on add one, it adds value in this counter. And then in the input text box below, if I type in GoldenCat, it writes that same value in the paragraph below with the last name as Ironclaw. Now, if you look closely, whenever I click on add one button, this greeting message keeps changing. So if I click on add one, you can see it changes. Now, if I go back to the code and see the implementation of this getGreetings method in app.js, you can see I'm not changing any property right now that should change this getGreeting method. And also, this method is not even being called. So why is this being executed again and again? Now this happening because whenever you change a property in a Vue application, it always reevaluates or re-executes a particular method, which is why you are seeing those greetings getting changed. Now to make it more apparent, let's just add a console.log here that says get full name was called. Now if I go back to my Chrome and then reload this, now theoretically, if I click on add one, it shouldn't make any changes or it shouldn't execute this get full name method because this method is only being used in this paragraph tag only. But if I click on it, add one, and then see the console, you can see this method is getting executed, because of which we are seeing this console.log messages. So, as I already mentioned, that Vue always reevaluates or re-executes the methods whenever a property of it changes. So this might not look much in our simple application, but it might have some performance impact if you are building a production grade application, because you don't want all the methods to get reevaluated every time you are changing some value. So how can we prevent that? Now let's see how we can define a computed property here to make this more performant. So if I go back to my Vue application and then in my app.js, to define a computed property, we need to define another property here called computed. And then inside of it, I will type in full name, which is a method, but we will be using it as a property that I'll show you in just a moment. So here, what I'll do is I'll simply copy this part and let's remove this method altogether and paste it here. Now in the index.html, to use this computed property or method, I simply need to type in full name and that's it. I'm not going to use any parentheses because I'm using it as a property. However, it is a function. So now if I go back to my program and then reload it again, and let's add a console log here so that we'll know if this method was executed or not. Full name was called and reload this again. Now if I click on add one, you can see full name was called is not being logged anymore. It was only logged at the first time when this component was initialized at the beginning. But if I type something here, let's just say GoldenCat, it is being called again and again as we intended. So this is how you can use computed properties, and it would make your applications way more performant. So in basic terms, a computed property only changes its value or reevaluates the expression only when one of its dependency is changed. So if I go back to the code and see this, our full name computed property would only change if the dependency, that is this dot name or name, is changed. So this is how you can use a computed property in your program. As always, we'll end this video with a quote that says, fall 7 times, stand up 8. Thank you for watching and have a great day.